It's nice to be at VF again. Yeah, coming every year, and I hope everybody's been practicing well since I last saw you. Practicing sleeping, yeah. Practicing looking at your phone, yeah. Which do you do more, sleep or look at your phone? Yeah. Both. So you look at your phone while you sleep. You maximize the time. You multitask. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think this is a big problem in Singapore, actually all over the world, in my country too. You know, people are just, they're totally addicted to their phone. And I don't know what is so interesting that all day long, even you're walking in the street, crossing the street where there's cars, and you're, yeah? Isn't that strange? Yeah. We are social animals. We need to be with other human beings. That's how we find meaning. And, you know, relating to somebody on a screen is very different than relating in person. Yeah. So I'm quite glad that all of you came this morning. And the people who are at home watching the teaching, lying back with their feet on the the desk with their coffee cup, listening when it's interesting, getting up and walking around when it's boring. You're not going to get as much out of a Dharma teaching like that. Yeah, it's really important to be with live human beings in the same room. You know, a live teacher, live Dharma friend. Yeah, so I'm very glad that all of you came this morning. Yeah, and people at home on Zoom, have a good nap. Yeah. No, I know, because occasionally I have to watch things on Zoom, and I don't set up properly the same way when I'm watching it on Zoom. Yeah. So, yeah, I admit, but I do my best to be there, live. That's important. Yeah. I mean, could you imagine if the Buddha were alive and instead you watched the teaching, you watched the Buddha teach on your phone? Yeah. Buddha's in Singapore speaking, and you're at home with your coffee and your phone, watching the Buddha, scrolling, looking at some pictures in between. Yeah, changing the channel sometimes. Yeah. Getting up and walking around when he talks about, not lying, and you don't want to hear about not lying. So you get up and walk around. Yeah. He teaches about love and compassion. Okay, I'll live about that. I'll stay for that. Yeah, Buddha teaches about the defects of samsara. Yeah, let's see. I better walk around now. I need some exercise. Don't want to listen to the defects of samsara. That's, that's not so nice, is it? Well, it's actually very nice, but we don't like it because we think samsara is wonderful, don't we? Yeah? Isn't samsara wonderful? You have money, yeah? You have boyfriends and girlfriends. You have nice food. You have Orchard Road. Yeah, what more could you want besides Orchard Road, where you can get anything you want? Yeah. It's kind of nice, isn't it? Yeah, why do you want to be out of samsara? What you don't like when the Buddha says that things are in the nature of dukkha. Yeah, that things are unsatisfactory. They're in the nature of suffering. Suffering is not quite the right translation. But, we don't want to hear, impermanence, dukkha, selflessness. I don't have a self, but my boyfriend has a self. He is so wonderful. I know who he is. He's going to make me forever happy, happy, happy. We're going to get married, just like Cinderella. He's on the prince on the white horse who's going to take me away to La La Land. Is that what marriage is like? How many of you are married? No one here is married. Oh, okay. A few of you are married. I think more than a few of you are married. Is it all like, oh, wonderful? Ooh. Yeah, is it? You're just sitting there. Think about it. We don't like to hear that, because when you fall in love, you're expecting everything to be perfect, and it's not. It's really hard work being married, yeah, and you have to compromise, and then you have kids, and like at first, oh, kids, they're so cute, until 3 o'clock in the morning when they're crying and you have to get up and feed them. But no, you sleep and you let your partner do that. And then they become teenagers. No, before they become teenagers, they're in primary one and they flunked their spelling test. They spelled cat, K-A-T. Oh, their life, how are they going to have a good life? They're not going to get into a top-notch university because they spelled cat wrong. Oh, what's happening to my children? That they better have tuition. Okay, you have tuition starting at 1 o'clock in the morning until 5 minutes before school. Then you go to school, you learn. You come home, you have tuition from, the time you come home until midnight, and then you get to sleep between midnight and 1 in the morning. Yeah, you're just preparing your children to have a good job, because that's how you work when you have a good job, isn't it? Yeah, you're at work all the time. Yeah, how much time do you get to spend with your family? When you're with your family, do you even talk to your kids? Yeah, do you say to your kids, what happened today? What did you learn today? Do you know who your kids' friends are? Yeah. Or do you just act like a drill sergeant with your kids? Okay, get up, get dressed, hurry up, brush your teeth, wash behind your ears, eat breakfast, get in the car, you know, get on your bicycle or however you get to school. Hurry up, we're late. Yeah. Okay, we're at school, get out, have a good day, bye. Yeah, really. It's like parents become like drill sergeants. What about the teachings on love and compassion? What about, you know, the responsibility to teach your kids good values? Do you spend enough time with them to teach them good values? Or is the only value making money? Yeah. Okay, we'll change the subject. Yeah, I'm getting those looks like, okay, shut up. I don't want to hear more about this. Okay, so yes, we'll talk about realizing the profound view, and I'll talk about all sorts of complicated things, throw around a lot of Sanskrit, Pali, Chinese, Tibetan terms, and then, give you some blessed water and some blessed pills, and you'll be happy. Right? Yeah. Yeah. Why do you come to Buddhist teachings? Yeah. Do you come to learn? Do you come because you want to become a better person? Yeah. Do you come because you care about other living beings and you want to be more compassionate towards them? Yeah. Or do you come to, find a good-looking guy or a pretty girl? Oh, where are they doing their walking meditation? I'll do my walking meditation nearby. Why do you come? And after you hear a teaching, do you take it home with them at home and think about it? Or do you just say, oh, that was fun. They serve good food at the Dharma Center. We were listening to somebody's story when we first came to Singapore about how they got interested in the Dharma and, went to the temple, and the master told them, come back tomorrow, and they came back tomorrow. And then when the teachings got a little bit difficult, she stayed away, except she really liked the food at the temple. So she went back. Yeah. So, this is an important question. What is our motivation? And when we come, are we trying to cultivate a big motivation, to generate compassion for every single sentient being? Yeah, friends, enemies, strangers, bugs, cockroaches, ants, lions, tigers, and bears. Ho, ho. Yeah. Do we come so we can enlarge our heart, grow our heart, and really learn how to forgive people who sometimes act inappropriately? Do we come so we can learn how to act responsibly? So this is a question, and this is why at the beginning of a teaching, it's so important to cultivate our motivation and to think, that we're here because we want to open our heart to others, because we want to learn about reality, our conventional reality, and the ultimate nature. Yeah. We come because we see that we have incredible human potential to become fully awakened Buddhas. And we want to nourish that potential. Yeah. Not just for ourselves, but for the benefit of all beings. Yeah. We don't want to become Buddhas so that everybody bows to us. Yeah. Oh, I'm a Buddha. Now I don't have to bow to anybody. They all bow to me. And they give me one pair. I'm a Buddha, and all they can give is one pear and a few flowers and some incense that's not even lit, and a fake light. Yeah, ugh. I worked so hard to become a Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings 3 countless great eons, and all they can give me is one old pear. Yeah. Meanwhile, at their house, what do they have at their house? Fresh pears, fresh apples, grapes, and that really stinky one that they like that I don't like. Yeah. Yeah. You don't put the stinky one on the altar, do you? You're so compassionate. You eat it for yourself. Ah, yeah. Do we really appreciate what the Buddha did for our benefit? Do we have the discipline and the enthusiasm to do that for other living beings? Because we care about them, we want to help them get out of samsara. Or when you're competitive in your business, you've got to do better business than other people. You're competitive at school, you've got to get better grades than other people. Yeah. So you want to be the best, and they can stay in samsara. That way they won't compete with me because I'm going to be a Buddha before they are. And then I'll get that one old pair and they won't. Yeah. Do we compete with even with our Dharma friends, let alone at work? Yeah. So there's all these questions that come up, when we are practicing the Dharma. When we have to look at our own mind and ask ourselves really important questions. Yeah. Am I an honest person? Ooh, ooh. Yeah. Was it last weekend? I was at another center and we started talking about lying. Yeah. So nobody lies here. Yeah. 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 The only lie you do is lie down. But, nobody here tells lies. And then one person was really brave and asked, what about the little white lies? Yeah. The little white lies? The ones that you do out of compassion. So you won't hurt anybody's feelings. And you don't want to let them know other things you've done that haven't been so good. So you put on a good face. I keep the precepts. But what else do we do? Yeah, that discussion about the little white lies became quite something, because people, when they were asking questions about it, they said, but we have to lie. One person was saying, oh, my office is having an office party, for Christmas. I don't want to go. But if I don't go, other people are going to talk about me. So I have to tell a little white lie about why I'm not going. I have to. And I said, really? You have to? You have no other choice of what to say or what to do besides lie? And they said, no, I have to lie. Yeah? When you lie, do you have to lie? Really? You have no other choice. Think about it. Yeah? When we cheat people in business, I have to. because I have to make a profit. Really? Again, you have no other choice but to cheat people? Okay, so Dharma makes us think, and it makes us ask these questions that are really important, yeah, that can sometimes make our ego very uncomfortable, because when we are honest with ourselves, we begin to realize that our self-centered mind, which convinces us, well, I have to lie and I have to do this and that and the other thing. We begin to see that our self-centered mind is not our friend. Yeah, that the Buddha's our friend, but sometimes the questions the Buddha asks us, we would rather not answer. Yeah, because it means that if we really look inside closely, it means either we have to lie to the Buddha or we have to change. And change, yeah, if I change, then what? That's scary, not think of myself first and think of other people as more important than me. That's scary. Yeah. I've got to just think about myself. But then we wind up creating a lot of non-virtue by doing that. Okay, we'll get to what I'm supposed to talk about today. Yeah, so just realizing the profound view. So there is anatta, an emptiness, and selfless person, selfless phenomena. Yeah, so we finished that topic. Okay, impermanence. Yes, all your enemies are impermanent. They will die. Hooray. That's good. Next topic, dukkha, suffering. Yes, may my competitors in business go to hell. May they suffer. We understand dukkha. Okay, so we understand the three characteristics. Yes, what else is new? Okay, so I'm supposed to talk about a lump of foam. Isn't that the title of the talk? Yeah. So a lump of foam. What kind of foam? Who manufactured the foam? How much did you pay for the foam? Foam. Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk about that. That's easier than talking about what the Buddha said about foam. Okay. So what I want to do is this book, Realizing the Profound View, by His Holiness the Dalai Lama, that I assisted him with. This is part of a series of 10 volumes called The Library of Wisdom and Compassion. So I have to do a commercial. You should all get all of the books, put them on your shelf. Don't read any of them. Yeah, but put them on your shelf so when your Dharma friends come over, you can say, look, I have all these books by the Dalai Lama. Yeah, and somebody says, what's in them? And you go, Dharma. Yeah, that's as far as you get. Okay, so you're going to hear a little bit from this. This is volume 8 out of 10. Okay, and in this volume, talking about how to realize the profound view, there's one chapter about the similarities between the view in the Pali tradition and the Sanskrit tradition. Yeah, because sometimes people think that the Pali tradition that became the Theravada tradition And the Sanskrit tradition, which is largely, but not completely, the Mahayana tradition, people think, oh, they're two totally different forms of Buddhism. They have nothing to do with each other. And anyway, the one I practice is the best. Yeah. And the other school is wrong. So if you practice the Theravada tradition, you say, those people who practice Mahayana, they're just out to lunch. Buddha didn't even teach the Mahayana. They're practicing things that aren't even the Buddha's word. Then the people who practice Mahayana look at the Theravada and say, those people want to become arhats for their own liberation. They're so selfish. Then both of them look at the people who practice Tantra and say, what's my lucky number? Because they think that Tantra is all magic and, giving people lucky numbers. Okay. This kind of, sectarianism in Buddhism is really damaging, and it's based on ignorance. Yeah, that we don't really know about each other's tradition. So the book that's the preliminary to this library of wisdom and compassion is called Buddhism, One Teacher, Many Traditions. And it talks about the similarities between, the Pali tradition, the Mahayana tradition, and shows how they're really related. Yeah, not two different, totally different things. Yeah, and how the Mahayana is the teachings of the Buddha. It talks about the four immeasurables, just like the Pali tradition does, the four Brahma Viharas. Yeah, it talks about impermanence, dukkha, selflessness, just like the Pali tradition. They aren't two separate things. Okay, so this part in the book is talking about how things, in terms of the view of emptiness, of selflessness, are similar. And the passage in the sutra, okay, so the sutra's name is A Ball of Foam Sutra, okay, and it's this one was taken out of the the connected discourses. Okay, so here's the verse, and it's in both the Pali tradition and the Sanskrit tradition. Okay, form is like a ball of foam. Feeling is like a water bubble. Discrimination is like a mirage. Miscellaneous factors is like a plantain tree. Some people may use the term volitional factors. Yeah, I use the term miscellaneous factors because this aggregate is kind of like whatever doesn't fit in any of the other four. Yeah, it's not just volition. Okay, so miscellaneous factors are like a plantain trunk. And consciousness is like an illusion. So explained the kinsman of the sun, and that's an epitaph for the Buddha. Okay, so I'm going to read from the book and then explain a bit for you. Before expounding this, the Buddha describes each aggregate as void, hollow, and insubstantial. Okay, void, hollow, and insubstantial. Regarding the form aggregate, that's referring to our body as well as all the different forms. Here's what the Buddha said. Monastics suppose that this river Ganges was carrying along a great ball of foam. A person with good sight would inspect it, ponder it, and carefully investigate it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be a ball in a ball of foam? Yeah, you've looked at foam, like, when a river's has foam on it or whatever. Yeah, the foam is, yeah, there's nothing inside of it. It pops in a minute. Yeah, it's quite insubstantial. So far, so good. Okay. Now the Buddha says, so too monastics, whatever kind of form there is, like our body, okay, whether past, future, or present, internal or external, gross or subtle, inferior or superior, far or near, a monastic inspects it, ponders it, and carefully investigates it, and it would appear to him to be void, hollow, insubstantial. For what substance could there be in form? So when you look at your body, when you think of your body, do you think of it as void, as empty? Do you think of it as hollow? No. How about insubstantial? No. My body is here. This thing, I can touch it and feel it. I know it's here. It's solid. I can tell you the weight. I can tell you the height. Yeah. Buddha just said it's void, hollow, and insubstantial. We disagree with the Buddha. Our ordinary view does not agree with the Buddha. Okay. The Buddha then proceeds to say the same thing about each of the other aggregates, changing only the simile. So the terms void, hollow, and unsubstantial are found in other early sutras as well, where they refer to things being false, deceptive, and illusory. Is your body false, deceptive, and illusory? No, my body's here. It's substance, it's here. It's my most treasured possession. I'm never going to give it up. Yeah. Except when I die, then I don't have a choice. But we'll forget about that. That happens to other people, not to me. Okay. So then the commentary, the Pali commentary unpacks the meaning of these analogies. Just as form lacks any substance, form lacks a permanent, stable substance, a self. Both foam and forms, such as the body, have holes that are homes to many creatures. My body has holes that is home to many creatures. Do you know how many bacteria live in your body, in your digestive system? Yeah. Okay, just as foam expands and breaks up, the body grows and then dies and decomposes. Except science is going to find a way so our body doesn't die and doesn't decompose. Yeah. You've heard about cryogenics, where they freeze your body? Yeah, it's really expensive. So that's why you have to have a good profession and a good living, making a lot of money, so that at the time you die, you can freeze your body, so that in 10 million years, when science figures out that there's no way it can bring you back to life, then they'll dispose of your dead body that's been frozen. Yeah? You think if you freeze your body, you're going to come back to life? Yeah. Do you think when you die that your body is going to float up and be in heaven? Yeah. If you go to heaven, which body? Your body when you're 2 years old? Your body when you're 80 years old? Yeah. You think you're going to take this thing with you to your next life? There are people who believe that. but I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, because when this body dies, the worms are going to have a great lunch. Yeah, they're going to say thank you for the food offering. Yeah. Just as a bubble. So, in the verse, the Buddha said feeling is like a bubble. So feeling, pleasant, unpleasant, neutral feelings, they're like bubbles. Okay? Just as a bubble is fragile and cannot be held because it bursts as soon as it is touched, so too feelings are fragile. They vanish and cannot be grasped as permanent or stable. Wait a minute. My feelings are not fragile. When I am unhappy, I am unhappy. And I will be unhappy and depressed for as long as I want to be. And when I'm happy, it's going to be forever, right? He just rode in on his white horse. Yeah. And you got married and rode off into the sunset with the prince on the white horse. Or you're the prince and you rode off with a princess. Yeah, rescuing Cinderella. How kind you are, rescuing her from her evil stepmother. But the feelings of happiness and suffering are fragile. They change, don't they? When we're in the middle of them, we think they're going to last forever. When I'm unhappy, we feel like I'm never going to be happy again. When we're happy, we think this is going to last forever. What is our experience? Yeah? Our feelings of happiness, unhappiness, and neutral feelings, they're changing all the time in one day. When you do the practice of mindfulness of feelings, of the 4 establishments of mindfulness, you watch how your feelings change during one day, during 1 hour. Yeah. So fragile. Okay. Then the next one, discriminations. Some people translate this as perceptions, but I think discrimination or discernment is more accurate because we are discerning the characteristics of an object. So discrimination or discernment is like a mirage. We may see a mirage, but there is no way to drink that water. Yeah, you ever see mirages in the desert? Singapore has lots of asphalt, but I've never seen a mirage here because there's usually too many cars covering the asphalt. Yeah? But if you're on a long stretch of highway in the US, it looks like there's some water at the end. Yeah, you're going through the desert. Or you're going through the Gobi Desert, in Asia. Oh, there's an oasis. There's some water out there. But you get there and there's no water. It was a mirage. It was deceptive. We see a mirage, but there is no way to drink that water. Discriminations are equally deceptive and insubstantial. Mirages deceive thirsty people who anticipate relief from their thirst, although no water is there. Similarly, discriminations mislead and captivate people with the idea that the object is permanent, pleasurable, and pure. Okay? So we get deceived, our discriminations, okay? So somebody shows you some up and coming business, yeah, that you should invest in now. How about cryptocurrency? Oh, if you did, invest in cryptocurrency, you're gonna make a lot. So you discern, oh yes, cryptocurrency, yes, the numbers look good, I'm going to invest in that. Yeah, and actually Trump invested in it, so it must be good. You trust him? Think again. Okay. Then you invest in cryptocurrency. You know, what is cryptocurrency? Can you see it? Yeah. They put a lot of computers in rural areas, and because cryptocurrency requires a lot of computers. Yeah. And so in the States, what's happening in rural areas, the companies are going and they want to buy huge expanses of land to put, like, a whole hectare full of computers, because that's what's required for this. And the computers make noise. Well, the computers make a little bit of noise, but you need fans to cool off the computers. The fans make a lot of noise. So here is, an area so quiet, trees, meadows, flowers, and they go in and they build these horrible things, on huge expanses of land that make so much noise and really ruin the atmosphere. Yeah. But the communities are poor, so they think that they'll get some money from that. It's a mirage. Yeah, it's a mirage. Okay, then miscellaneous factors are like a plantain tree. Okay, so plantains are a certain kind of banana. Do you have them here? Yeah, you do? Yeah. So not everybody is nodding their head yes. They produce the kind of bananas that you usually cook. Yeah, you have them a lot in India, in Central America, and they have really interesting trunks. So, it's a banana tree. It has a trunk, and then the bananas grow on the top, the plantains grow on top. And it looks, I mean, there's this huge trunk that is holding up the leaves and all the bananas. And it looks like the trunk is really solid. I mean, it's holding all this stuff up. Actually, what the trunk of a plantain tree is its leaves that are wrapped around. It's only leaves. And when you pull out one leaf and then another leaf, all these the coiled around leaves, the trunk gets smaller, 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 and you're waiting to see the core of the trunk. But when you pull off the last leaf, there's nothing there. There's no core to that, what looks like that solid trunk. Yeah. Miscellaneous factors are like a plantain trunk in that the trunk of a plantain tree appears strong and solid, but it is hollow. There is nothing to be found in it. It is merely a collection of different sheaths. Yeah, sheaths, the leaves wrapped around, without any essence. Similarly, miscellaneous factors like our emotions, our views, our opinions, all these kinds of things, the aggregate that produces those, miscellaneous factors are a collection that has no essence. They lack a permanent core that makes intentional decisions. Wait a minute. My opinions are not deceptive. My opinions are true, right? Don't you think that? I would never think anything wrong. My opinions are true. They are not hollow and deceptive and void. Actually, when you sit there and you look at what is an opinion. Yeah, we have lots of them, don't we? Yeah. What is an opinion? It's just a thought. What is a thought? There's no substance to a thought. The thoughts change like this. You can't even touch them. The thoughts just, watch your thoughts and ask sometime. Don't look at the content of the thought, but what is a thought? Yeah, because we have a lot of them and they really influence our life. Okay. And the Buddha's saying they're hollow. There's no substance to them. Okay, then the verse says, consciousness is like an illusion. So consciousness, our 5 sense consciousnesses, and especially our mental consciousness. Yeah, the one that has all the opinions. Yeah, all the ideas. The volitional factors, aggregate all my emotions. Yeah, our emotions that we treasure so much, that we think are who we are. But Buddha says all this stuff is like an illusion. A magical illusion is insubstantial and cannot be grasped. Similarly, consciousness makes us think that a person does various activities with the same mind, whereas the mind changes from one moment to the next and cannot be grasped. Does your mind change? Yeah, every moment it's changing. We're seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, thinking different things all the time. Yeah. Where can you find anything substantial in something that is so transient? Okay. So after talking about those aggregates, the Buddha then says, however one may ponder them and carefully inspect them, they appear but hollow and empty when one views them carefully. So these are the things, the factors that compose what we call me. Okay? And the Buddha is saying all the things that are composed, I, me, are hollow and insubstantial and illusory. Yeah, which makes us feel, which would make that I am hollow, insubstantial, and illusory. Do you feel that way? I don't think so. I am here. You see me, there's a body. This is where I live. I have happy, unhappy, neutral feelings. That's what I experience. I discern different objects, so I have discriminations. I have emotions, and my emotions are so important. I live by my emotions. And then my consciousnesses, my mind, yes, that's who I am. And the Buddha says that that's all deceptive and insubstantial and hollow. Yep, that's what he said. Why? Because he's telling us the truth, which is the exact opposite of how we see ourselves, isn't it? Yeah, we think that we're some kind of permanent person. We feel there's something in me that is really me. The people you love, when you think of them, you don't think, oh, that's a hollow, insubstantial person. You think they have an essence. Their essence is what I really love. And their essence is permanent. If they have a permanent essence, how come they get old? How come they change their minds? How come sometimes they're reliable and sometimes they're not? Who is that person? Really? Yeah. We say, oh, I know that person really well, as if they have a real essence and we know that essence. You know, this guy is a really angersome person. That's his essence, anger. He always gets angry. Really? Every single moment of the day he's angry. He has a permanent essence that is angry. He's never kind. Of course not. Yeah. This person, you know, the prince on the white horse, forever wonderful. He never changes. He never gets fat and old. And he leaves his dirty clothes on the floor and expects you to pick them up. When you met him, he didn't have dirty clothes. He was riding his white horse. And he picked up his own clothes. Yeah, but he gives you a ring and now your job is to pick up his clothes. Yeah. What do you think? Is that a good deal or not? Okay. So the Sanskrit, so that what I just went through was the Pali or Theravada a description of the verse. Okay. So now we're going to go into the Sanskrit tradition because we're going to see the similarities and differences between these two interpretations. So the Sanskrit tradition's explanation of the 5 similes below is similar, although it emphasizes the aggregate's false and deceptive appearance. In the Sanskrit presentation, the 5 similes illustrate the deceptive appearance of the aggregates as well as their dependence on other factors. Okay? The idea in both the Pali and the Sanskrit version is if the aggregates are impermanent and deceptive and so on, then the self that is based on them must be the same. Okay? And if we can't find an essence in any of the aggregates, then the self that's composed of them, well, you can't find a substantial self or a permanent self. The Sanskrit tradition goes a little bit further. You know, it's not just that there's no substantial self, but even the aggregates are without a self, without any inherent nature. Okay, so the self doesn't have an inherent nature. The aggregates don't have an inherent nature. Everything exists dependent on other things that are not it, and therefore nothing can have an independent or inherent nature. Okay, so here's a Sanskrit tradition explanation. Just as a ball of foam appears hard and sturdy, but is actually delicate and can't withstand the slightest touch without bursting, so too the body appears truly existent. When we think of our body, We think that there's a real body there, you know, a body that has its own nature, that can perpetuate itself without depending on anything else. That was the meaning of truly existent, okay? And that it cannot withstand ultimate analysis. Ultimate analysis is when you take something, the body, feelings, the self, any of these things, and you say, what is this really? Not how does it appear, but when I really examine it, what is it really? Okay, that's ultimate analysis. So too, the body appears truly existent, but cannot withstand ultimate analysis. And it's when you realize that, its seeming true existence is easily destroyed. Actually, true existence never existed. Yeah, we just project some kind of inherent nature on everything and think that it has that nature from its own side. But it doesn't, and it never has. The body is deceptive, not only because it appears firm, but also because it appears to truly exist, although it does not. Yeah, it doesn't have an essence that can perpetuate. Water bubbles arise dependent on causes and conditions and quickly vanish. So too our pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral feelings appear real and permanent when in fact they are dependent and transient. Our pleasant feelings do not last forever and are inevitably followed by painful feelings. What? What? Pleasant feelings are inevitably followed by painful feelings? What is he talking about? Yeah, my pleasure is I have a good food and then I watch a movie, that's good. Then I go out drinking and that's fun. And then I go with my friends to gamble a little bit, that's fun. Then I come home and I go to sleep and that's fun. What's he talking about? That my pleasant feelings are always followed by painful feelings. What do you think? Your own experience? Are you always happy when you have a pleasant feeling? We work so hard to get the objects that we think give us pleasant feelings. And we don't want to separate from those objects. Number one object, money, right? Money is the source of happiness. I've got to get as much as of it I can. Yeah. Do you ever have enough? Do you know anybody in this planet who has enough money? Does your money always bring you happiness? When the stock market goes down and your investments are now at half of the worth they were before, do you say, yippee? I don't think so. Yeah. Does money really bring you happiness? Think about it. Yeah. Look, here's a $100 million bill. Now I'm happy. Yeah. It's paper and ink. Actually, now it's not even paper and ink. Yeah. Where is your money? What is your money? The money you love so much, you can't even touch it now. You can't even count it yourself. It's some squiggles on your phone. That's all is, isn't it? Yeah. And the thing that makes you happy is not the first, when you look at your balance, it's not the first number in your balance. It's how many zeros follow that first number. You don't care what the first number is, as long as there's a lot of zeros. Yeah. $10 in my account, only 1 zero. Okay. $1 million in my account, better, 6 zeros. Yeah. $1 billion, 9 zeros, we're getting there. Yeah, it doesn't matter what the first number is. Yeah, does that really bring you happiness? Yeah, every time you get your paycheck, are you just overcome with joy for the world? The world is so good. I got my paycheck. Yeah, and then what happens to your paycheck? It's gone. You spend it, right? On what? Food. How long does the food last? Entertainment. How long does your movie last? A car. How long does your car last? But we keep chasing money, don't we? Isn't that rather dumb? Don't you think a lot of the things we quote normal people do is really rather stupid when you think about it seriously? Okay, our pleasant feelings do not last forever and are inevitably followed by painful feelings. If feelings existed truly, they would not change and would not be followed by suffering, the pleasant ones. A mirage appears to be water, but no water is present. Similarly, things discerned by discriminations, as well as the discriminations themselves, appear to truly exist, whereas they do not exist in that way at all. They do exist, but they don't exist in the way they appear. If we try to find truly existent discrimination within its basis of designation, we can't find it. A plantain tree appears to have a hard core, but when the broad leaves around it are removed, no core is found. Likewise, the emotions and views that form the aggregate of miscellaneous factors seem to exist from their own side when in fact they are essenceless. They are false appearances to a mistaken mind. Are your emotions false appearances to a mistaken mind? Yeah, when you're angry, does your anger appear like to be a false appearance to a mistaken mind? No, my anger is accurately seeing the situation. I have every right to be angry. My anger is good. Any normal person would also be angry at what this other person did to me. We don't think that our emotions are like a plantain tree with no core that fall apart. No, my emotions are real. And my emotions tell me what to do. When I am angry, my anger says, get revenge. Yeah, give that person a taste of their own medicine. When I want something, when my mind is full of attachment and greed, I want that. And I deserve it. And I am going to do everything I can to get it. Even if I have to deceive other people, lie, cheat, steal, I'm going to do that. Yeah. I'm jealous. My jealousy is real. Yeah. My jealousy is telling me that that person has something that I should have. They don't deserve it. I should have it. Yeah. Prince Charming, we were supposed to get married the next day. He ran off with somebody else the day before. I am so jealous. You know, now she has him. Oh, I've got to get him back. How can I get him back? I've got to go take his white horse. He's glued to his white horse. If I get the white horse, he comes with it. I'll get him back. Yeah. Then I'll have the privilege of picking up his dirty clothes. Okay. Yeah. When we have a strong emotion, do we say that this is without a core, that is based on false appearance? No, we act out our emotions, don't we? We're sure that they're true, they're real, and they're good guides on how to act until we have problems because of them. Okay. Likewise, the emotions and views that form the aggregate of miscellaneous factors seem to exist from their own side when in fact they are essenceless, false appearances to a mistaken mind. My anger is mistaken. No, it's not. That person made a horrible mistake. My anger is justified. My greed is mistaken. No, it's not. I deserve this. I want it. I should be able to get it. Yeah? Do we really think that all those emotions that guide us are telling us the truth? Check up. Although appearing powerful and solid, miscellaneous factors are fabrications created by the mind and have no essence. Our emotions are fabrications. Think about it. Magical illusions, such as ghosts sitting next to you on a ride at a theme park. Yeah. When you go to a theme park, have you ever, I don't know about the theme parks here, but you know, there's one that I went to as a kid in Disneyland. It was called the Haunted House. And they take you through this haunted house. And at the end, you come out of the haunted house. You're sitting in this little car, and there's a mirror facing you. And you look at yourself in the mirror, and sitting next to you is a ghost. There's a ghost. Yeah. Is that ghost real? Is it real? Huh? I saw a ghost. My grandma died. I saw her ghost coming through. Was that your grandma? Was that ghost gonna cook you a nice meal and hug you? Is a ghost real? When you see a ghost in a mirror, when you see yourself in the mirror, is the face in the mirror real? It looks real. Is the face in the mirror a real face? If you took out your lotion and put the lotion on the face in the mirror, is the skin of the face in the mirror going to get softer? No, it's not a real face. Yeah, the ghost you see in the mirror isn't real. Okay. Similarly, consciousness makes us think that a person does various activities with the same mind, whereas the mind changes from one moment to the next and cannot be grasped. Oh, I read the wrong thing. That was the Pali. Let's just here. Okay, here's the Sanskrit one. Magical illusions, such as ghosts sitting next to you on a ride at a theme park, appear to exist objectively, although they are fabricated and no ghosts whatsoever are there. Similarly, the six consciousnesses appear to exist truly. They appear to be independent of their objects, when in fact they arise dependent on their objects and dependent on the sense faculties. Being dependent, they cannot exist with their own inherent nature. Okay, that's how it's explained in the Sanskrit tradition. Then there's a little bit more here. Pali commentators do not use terms such as selflessness of persons and selflessness of phenomena. Those terms developed later in the Sanskrit tradition in North India. However, the meaning is there in the Pali text. Although the explanation in the Pali commentary of that 6-line verse does not match Nagarjuna's explanation exactly, each practitioner will understand the passage according to their disposition and the maturity of their faculties. In this way, through such passages in the Pali Canon, fundamental vehicle practitioners can learn, meditate, and realize the middle way view of the emptiness of inherent existence. In post-meditation time, they practice seeing things as like illusions, arising as insubstantial appearances. Okay? So when you really understand the meaning of things being impermanent, hollow, insubstantial, empty of inherent existence, empty of true existence, then in meditative equipoise, they do not appear because right now we project inherent existence on them and it doesn't exist. When we realize that inherent existence doesn't exist, okay, then only the emptiness of inherent existence appears to the mind that directly perceives emptiness. Yeah. When these yogis then arise from that meditation, yeah, they still function in the world, but things appear to them like illusions. Like illusions. Yeah. In other words, they are not illusions because illusions don't exist. The water in a mirage does not exist. Okay. But things are like illusions in that they appear inherently existent, truly existent, substantial, whereas they don't exist that way. However, things do exist. Yeah. How do they exist? Dependently. Everything arises dependent on other factors. Okay. So what the Buddha is negating is only inherent existence, substantial existence. He's not negating all existence. So we have to be very careful here, because if we don't understand it properly, we go to the extreme of nihilism and say, oh, well, nothing exists. And that's a very dangerous position, because if nothing exists, then we say there's no good, there's no bad, there's no virtue, there's no non-virtue. Therefore, I can do whatever I want, and I don't have to experience the results of my own actions. That is a really bad, wrong view, that if we follow it, yeah, we create so much incredible negative karma, and we wind up in very bad rebirths afterwards. Yeah. So we have to be very careful when we're talking about selflessness. Yeah. People exist, but they don't have a solid self, a solid essence. Yeah. They exist. How do they exist? Dependently. What are they dependent on? The 5 aggregates: the body, feelings, discriminations, miscellaneous factors, and consciousnesses. Okay. This is very difficult to understand. So we have to really ponder it and go deep in it and hear a lot of teachings about it. Okay, so we have a little bit of time for questions and comments. Maybe answers. I don't promise.
Thank you, Venerable, for such an inspiring talk. I've heard you before many times in Singapore. I'm from California, by the way,
Oh, whereabouts?
the Central Valley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Maybe I'll be lucky and get a chance to fly into Seattle to your monastery sometime.
Yeah, we're above Spokane.
Okay, above.
Fly
Okay.
into Spokane.
Okay.
And everybody here, you're invited to our monastery. Yeah, please come and visit us.
Okay, so my question, I really like the way you apply the Dharma to human relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So I have 2 very specific questions.
Okay. Do them one at a time.
Sure, sure. Okay, the first one is, there was a real life case of 2 lovers,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And I'm trying to apply the Dharma to this situation. I need your help to understand it better. So the one lover was going to leave the other lover,
Mm-hmm.
and the other lover couldn't accept that, and
Put a what?
physically harm the other lover.
Oh, that's really good, huh?
Okay.
That keeps them from leaving you.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
you kill them first.
Right.
So you make them leave you. Okay, yeah.
So of course, as an ordinary person, I can understand that. But could you please apply some, as a Buddhist, I want to understand the root causes of dukkha. So could you please analyze that from a Buddhist point of view?
Okay, good. Okay. So, you have the couple. They did the whole Cinderella white horse thing. Yeah, except they didn't live happily ever after. So one of them wants to leave, and they're fighting over who's going to take the white horse. Yeah. And the other one doesn't like it. So the other one says, I don't want you to leave. I'll beat you up. I'll kill you. Yeah. Okay. So analyze that according to Buddhism. Yeah. Well, the first thing we start with in the Dharma is ethical conduct. Yeah. This one killing that one, is that a virtuous action? Hello? Hello? Yeah. This is not the time to be silent. Yeah, this one kills that one. Is it okay? Is it virtue? No. Okay. What kind of rebirth is that person going to have for killing intentionally somebody else? Are they going to have a good rebirth or a bad rebirth? Bad. Okay. Yeah. What was motivating that person? What was motivating them? What was going on in their mind that made them kill that person? Yeah, there's a lot of things going on in their mind. Yeah. It starts out, if we analyze it, it starts out with, they're leaving me, I'm going to be miserable if they leave. So it starts out with the feeling aggregate, unpleasant feeling. Yeah, if they leave, I'm going to be miserable. Then discriminations, you know. If they leave, yeah, I'm really going to be miserable and I'm justified in being miserable. Miscellaneous factors. When I'm miserable, I'm certainly not happy. I'm mad. Anger. Where is this all happening? In the mind, mental consciousness. Okay? So that is how the motivation develops. And the person thinks, wrong views, my anger is justified. Yeah, it's good that I'm angry because how can I just sit back and say, yeah, it's okay, you leave me? No, it's not okay. I want you to stay. I should get what I want. Why should I get what I want? Because I am me and I am more important than anybody else in the world. And if I can't get what I want, and you're the cause of me not getting what I want, I'm going to kill you, punish you. So when you think about this logically and rationally, first of all, is killing the person you love, does that make any sense to a reasonable, logical mind? It makes no sense because you care about that person. It makes no sense at all. Yeah. Does the anger make any sense? Does anger lead you to do virtuous actions? No. We may feel powerful when we're angry. You're leaving me. I have power. I'm going to make you know how powerful I am. Wham, bam, wham, bang. Anger may make you feel powerful. Are you powerful in that moment? Is that a good kind of power? You may be physically powerful and beat somebody up or take out a gun or a knife or whatever and kill them. Is that power? Or is that stupidity? What is it? Yeah, it's stupidity. It's not power. There may be physical power, but real power, it's not there. Yeah, you're emotionally weak because you can't discern that from the very beginning, things that come together are going to separate. Yeah, you were with that person for a while, you're not going to be with them forever. Yeah. So the mind was totally false, totally hallucinating. Yeah. And then causes suffering to another human being, plants the imprints of negative karma on their own mind stream. They wind up in a lower realm. How are they going to be happy there? So they thought that acting out their anger would bring them happiness because they felt powerful. But at the end of the day, they're going to die and have suffering. And even in that very life, they just killed the person that they didn't want to leave them, making that person leave them. Yeah, I don't want you to leave, so I'm going to make you leave. Yeah? Okay, so that's a Dharma analysis.
Venerable, would you permit me one more short question, please?
Okay.
Okay, along the same lines about applying the Dharma to human relationships. So there was a real life case of an ex-husband who had a very toxic relationship with his ex-wife. He was a single father. And he had overspent on sending his son to international school because it's incredibly expensive. He overspent. So he got into a quarrel with his ex-wife. They were no longer married. And unfortunately, he was an alcoholic and he got drunk. He got very, very drunk. And he went to her condominium and got into a quarrel with his wife. And the quarrel kept escalating. And he went onto the balcony. And as the quarrel escalated, he said, all right, that's it. I'm going to jump. And their relationship was already over. It was so toxic and terrible. She said, jump. And he said, okay, I will. And he did. It's very tragic. It's a true story. So as a lay Buddhist, how can I understand the root causes of this tragedy?
Okay. Again, it comes back to ignorance, doesn't it? Yeah. The ignorance that thinks there's truly existent money. Yeah, truly existent, like we just talked about. Where is your money? Yeah. I want more money. You're going to grab somebody else's phone because it has more numbers in their bank account than your phone has in your bank account. Where is your money? You know, you're so upset. I lost money. Huh? Yeah. It's ignorance, isn't it? And then ignorance thinking that, oh, this is so painful. I'm not married anymore. Anyway, I don't want to be. I can't stand her. Yeah. But I want more money. But I spent the money on my kid's education and the kid doesn't appreciate me. And now I don't have any money. So my whole life has no happiness. Yeah, because my feeling, unpleasant feeling, is solid and real and permanent, and I'm going to feel unhappy forever and ever and ever. Yeah, grasping wrong view, grasping feelings as permanent. So, I need to find some solution to alleviate my pain. So I'll jump off the balcony. Yeah, and what do? Who benefits from that? You lose your life. People have to clean up the mess. You know, can you imagine? We laugh, but can you imagine the people living in that flat, walking out the front door, and there's this bloody, broken bone corpse lying there, and they have to call 999 to come and do something, and the kids are there screaming. Yeah, what happened to him? This is awful. Does that create any happiness at all? What kind of rebirth is that person going to have? They died with anger at the world. You died with anger, what kind of rebirth are you going to have? Not a good one. Yeah, so it comes again back to ignorance. Yeah, thinking things are solid, permanent, having an essence, truly exist. Okay?
Thank you so much, Venerable. Just a quick final comment. The ex-wife never paid for the funeral, and the ex-husband who jumped from the balcony was my own colleague. Thank you so much.
Wow. Can I ask, how did that affect everybody at the place you work?
It was horrible. It was really horrible. And the only slightly positive thing is I was out of the country when it happened. Thank goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, but out of country, does that
Meaning out
mean
of Singapore. I wasn't in Singapore when
you weren't in Singapore?
Yeah.
Does that mean you suffered any less?
I think if I had actually been there in the office, I think it would have been overwhelming for me.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, this is really a tragedy. I was working with one, because I did prison work. So I was working with one young man, and I won't tell you his whole story, but his life was a mess. He was in for life. He got a life sentence at age 16. And he told me he was getting interested in Dharma, and I was sending him books. And he said he just looked at a life in prison and thought, there's not going to be any happiness. And he thought of killing himself. And then he remembered, because he was learning the Dharma, oh, if I kill myself, I'm only going to get reborn. Suicide does not eliminate my suffering. So he didn't kill himself. Yeah. Then he decided he was going to do something to try and make his life better. He was a very smart young man. Yeah, not so smart for doing what he did that got him in prison, but he was very intelligent, and he set up a TV station, a closed TV station within the prison, whereby they could show educational videos so that the other inmates who had televisions could learn something. I thought that was pretty cool. He did something to benefit others with his life. Yeah. The white horse. Oh, what is the white horse? There's a fairy tale about Cinderella that they tell tell children. And Cinderella had a stepmother that was very mean to her and made her wash the floor and do the dishes and the laundry and everything, and really took advantage of Cinderella. And so Cinderella, what happened? She was sleeping. Some prince, some son of a king, saw her, and she was so beautiful. He didn't care, whether she was intelligent or had a brain. You know, all he cared for was of her body. Yeah, really nice guy, huh? And he was a prince, so he had a white horse. He jumped on his white horse and ran and took her out of the home, with away from the evil stepmother. And they were supposed to live happily ever after. Yeah, he didn't have a car. This is a fairy tale. If he had had a car, he would have come in a Lexus or a BMW or something. But he didn't, so he came on a white horse. Yeah.
Hi, Venerable. So I have a questions about the white lie just now Venerable mentioned. White lie is still breaking the precept, although it's have come with the better intention. So if
Oh, I see. White lies come with a virtuous intention.
no, it's not virtue. It's still breaking the precept.
Oh, thank you for educating me on this.
So
I had the view that white eyes came from a desire to cover something up and was a bad intention. But you're
yes,
saying you white lie out of so much compassion.
if we choose not to say anything, so is it better compared to telling a white lies?
Yeah. Yeah. Why? You don't have to lie. Yeah. Are you an incarnation of the person from last weekend who told me she had to lie? There was no choice? No. You can change the topic. Yeah, you can change the topic. You can say, this is a personal issue. I don't want to discuss it. Or if people are gossiping, you can say, I feel uncomfortable. I don't want to join the conversation. There's lots of things you can say. Why is that non-virtuous? Because what is your motivation? What are you attached to? Your reputation. I want everybody to love me and think I'm wonderful. Because what other people think of me after money is the most important thing in the world. But sometimes what other people think of me is more important to me than money, and I will lie to make sure my reputation is good. Because other people's thoughts, other people have, what is a reputation? What is my reputation? Other people's thoughts. What are other people's thoughts? Are they the most important thing in the world? Are they true? Yeah, they're fabrications. Why, one person thinks you're wonderful, another person thinks you're terrible. Are either of them who you are? No. So why do you care so much? Okay.